Elias wasn't just an urban explorer. He was a brand. His massive online following tuned in to watch him break into the places most people were too afraid to even look at. And on one rainy Tuesday, he found the jackpot, Blackwood Manor. It was a decaying Victorian mansion, swallowed by a forest so feared the locals refused to even give it a name. They warned him, of course. They told him about Silas, the reclusive doll maker who once lived there. They whispered stories of how he tried to preserve his deceased wife, not in memory, but in mechanics building a life-sized mannequin to house her spirit. The locals said the house didn't just hold memories, it held breath. The rusted lock on the front door snapped with a satisfying crunch. Elias stepped inside, and the air hit him like a physical blow, thick, cloying. A mix of formaldehyde and rotting wood. His flashlight beam cut through the oppressive darkness, dust motes dancing like frantic spirits. And there it was, in the center of the grand hallway, a single, ornate chair. Seated on it was a mannequin, draped in a tattered, yellowing wedding dress. It was unnervingly realistic. The skin had the sheen of polished wax, but its glassy, blue eyes seemed to follow his every move. Elias let out a nervous laugh for his camera. Creepy, right, guys? But it's just wood and paint. He couldn't have been more wrong. To get the ultimate footage, Elias decided to camp inside for the night. He set up his gear, told his audience he'd see them in the morning, and drifted off to sleep. At exactly 2:14 a.m., a sound jolted him awake. Scrape. 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 It was a heavy, dragging sound, like furniture being pulled across the floorboards. He grabbed his camera, the night vision mode, casting the world in an eerie green glow. He aimed the lens down the hallway. The chair was empty. The wedding dress was crumpled on the floor like a shed skin. A wave of pure panic crashed over him. He scanned the room, his heart hammering against his ribs. And then he saw it. In the far corner of the ceiling, the mannequin wasn't on the floor. It was clinging to the wall like an insect, its wooden joints twisted at impossible, agonizing angles. It wasn't moving, but its jaw was unhinged, hanging open to reveal a row of sharp, disturbingly human-like teeth. Elias ran. He didn't think. He just bolted for the front door, his only escape. He slammed against it, fumbling with the handle. But it wouldn't budge. It felt like something was holding it shut from the other side, holding it with a strength that wasn't human. He spun around and sprinted into the kitchen, his breath coming in ragged, painful gasps. He pressed himself into a corner, trying to silence his own breathing. And then the house went completely silent. The scraping stopped. The air grew still. A voice, a wet, distorted rasp, whispered directly into his ear. So close, he could feel the phantom moisture of its breath. "Does it hurt to bleed?" "I've forgotten." He whipped around, ready to fight. The mannequin was standing right behind him, impossibly close. It didn't move like a machine. It moved with a fluid. Predatori grace. It reached out a wooden hand, and Elias noticed something horrifying. The mannequin's skin was changing. It was absorbing the color of his jacket, the texture of his own skin, like a chameleon. He opened his mouth to scream, but a cold, wooden finger pressed against his lips. "She," the thing whispered, its voice a sickening mimicry of human speech. "I need a new suit. This wood is so cold." The camera fell from his grasp, tumbling to the floor. It continued to record, capturing one last, horrific image. The lens pointed upwards, showing Elias's legs being dragged away into the suffocating darkness of the basement. His fingernails scraped against the floor, leaving deep, desperate gouges in the wood until he disappeared completely. 2 weeks later, the police finally searched the house. They found no sign of Elias, no blood, no evidence of a struggle, nothing. All they found was his camera and a new mannequin sitting in that familiar chair in the grand hallway. This new mannequin was wearing Elias's clothes. It looked exactly like him, every freckle, every single strand of hair. The lead detective, unnerved, reached out and touched the mannequin's face. He snatched his hand back in horror. The wood was warm, and as he stared into its unblinking eyes, he saw it underneath the layer of glass, a pupil constricted in the light.